Let me tell you something, and I want you to listen very, very closely, because absolutely nobody else on the internet has the guts to tell you the truth. I open up my phone, I look at social media in 2026, and what do I see? It is a total disaster. A massive, embarrassing, heartbreaking disaster. I see millions of people from Gen Z crying into their smartphone cameras. They are weeping. They are writing long, emotional paragraphs about how the economy is completely rigged, how inflation is destroying their lives, how the housing market is a scam, and how they will never, ever be able to afford a house. But then, I look a little closer at the video, and what else do I see? The person crying about being broke is wearing a $600 designer sweater they bought using a Afterpay. They are holding a $9 iced matcha latte that they had delivered through Uber Eats. They are filming the video on a brand new, top-of-the-line smartphone that cost more than my first car. And in the background, I can see tickets to a Taylor Swift concert that probably cost them a month's rent. Give me a break. It is pathetic. It is sheer hypocrisy. You are sitting there complaining that you are poor while actively handing over every single dollar you earn to massive corporations that are laughing at you. I am Big Don. I am not a billionaire who inherited a real estate empire. I am a regular guy who looked at the financial system, realized it was a giant vacuum cleaner designed to suck the middle class dry, and figured out the exact mathematical cheat code to beat it. The financial advice being fed to your generation is absolute garbage. The fake internet gurus want you to stay broke. The credit card companies want you to stay broke. But today, that stops. Today, I am going to expose the 3 brutal, unforgiving reasons why 99% of Gen Z will never be rich. I am going to break down the exact psychological diseases infecting your generation. And listen to me very carefully. Reason number 1, which I am going to reveal at the end of this video, is a trap that almost every single young person is falling into right now. You think it is an investment, but it is actually a financial slaughterhouse designed to keep you poor forever. If you do not want to be eating cheap instant noodles in a rented room when you are 70 years old, lock the door, grab a pen, and pay attention. We are going to make your wallet great again. Before we get into the countdown, we need to set the record straight. I am going to give you a little bit of credit. Just a little bit. The economy in 2025 and 2026 is incredibly tough. Inflation has been a disaster. The math on buying a house right now is brutal. If you want to buy a $500,000 starter home with a 7% interest rate, property taxes, insurance, and maintenance, you are looking at a monthly payment of over $4,000. It is completely out of reach for the average 22-year-old. The system is flawed. I agree with you. But here is where you are making a fatal mistake. Because the macroeconomic environment is tough, you have decided to play the victim. And while you are busy playing the victim, the smartest engineers in Silicon Valley are building algorithms specifically designed to drain your bank account. Every app on your phone, every social media feed, every targeted advertisement is backed by billions of dollars of psychological research. Their only goal is to trigger a dopamine hit in your brain that makes you click, buy now. You are fighting an algorithmic war, and right now, you are losing terribly. You think you are broke because of the government. No, you are broke because you have surrendered your financial discipline to digital traps. Let's look at the whiteboard and break down exactly how you are destroying your own wealth, starting with reason number 3. Reason number 3 why Gen Z will stay broke forever is a psychological virus that I call the doom spending delusion. Let me explain what this is. Because Gen Z looks at the economy, looks at the 500 grand houses, and looks at the stock market, they feel a deep sense of hopelessness. They say to themselves, well, the world is a mess, the environment is collapsing, and I will never be able to afford a home anyway. So why should I save? I might as well spend my paycheck on something that makes me feel good right now. This is the exact justification millions of young people use to blow their money on luxury travel, expensive dinners, and designer clothes. They call it self-care. They call it healing. They call it collecting experiences. I call it financial suicide. Believe me, it is the most self-destructive mindset you can possibly have. Let's do the whiteboard math, because the math never lies. Let us introduce a character. We will call her Doomer Daisy. Daisy is 24 years old. She makes an average salary, but she feels hopeless about the future. So instead of saving, Daisy engages in doom spending. She spends $500 a month on things she absolutely does not need. She buys a new outfit on Klarna every week. She orders DoorDash instead of cooking. She goes on a weekend trip to Bali just so she can post a picture on Instagram to impress people she hasn't spoken to since high school. She justifies it by saying, "It's only $500 a month. That wouldn't buy me a house anyway." Daisy is mathematically illiterate. Let me show you what that $500 a month is actually worth. If Daisy took that $500 a month, stopped crying about the economy, and invested it into a broad market index fund like the S&P 500, returning an historical average of 10% a year, do you know what she would have in 40 years? She would have over $3 million. Over $3 million. Let that sink in. Doomer Daisy is trading $3 million of future wealth, absolute financial freedom, and generational security for a few temporary dopamine hits, some cold takeout food, and a couple of likes on social media. It is a disaster. And the worst part is how these companies facilitate this addiction. The buy now, pay later industry is a predatory scam. When you see a pair of shoes for $200, your brain says, "I cannot afford that." But when the app says, "Pay only $50 today in 4 easy installments," your brain is tricked. You think you are getting a deal. You are not. You are chopping your future income into tiny, bleeding pieces. By the time your next paycheck arrives, it is already gone. It belongs to the corporations. Stop using the state of the world as an excuse to be financially irresponsible. No one cares about your Instagram aesthetic. Look broke, act broke, cut out the doom spending, and secretly build a fortress of wealth. This brings us to reason number 2. And this one makes me incredibly angry because it preys on people who are actually trying to work hard. Reason number 2 is the garbage side hustle trap. Gen Z loves the idea of the hustle. You watch YouTube videos of people telling you to start 7 different income streams. You see TikToks telling you to fill out online surveys, do low-ticket dropshipping, or drive for food delivery apps. So you decide to be productive. After your regular 9-to-5 job, you get into your car and you drive for Uber Eats for 4 hours every evening. You finish your shift, you look at your app, and it says you made $45. You feel like a winner. You think you are a real entrepreneur. You are not an entrepreneur. You are terrible at math. Let's pull up the whiteboard and look at the brutal reality of the gig economy. You made $45, but you drove 60 miles. The IRS calculates the true cost of driving a car, including gas, oil changes, tire wear, and vehicle depreciation, at about 67 cents per mile. So those 60 miles just cost you $40 in hidden vehicle expenses. You also have to pay self-employment taxes on your earnings. When you subtract the true cost of operating your vehicle and the taxes, your $45 profit shrinks to about $8. You just worked 4 hours for $8. That is $2 an hour. You are literally selling your time and destroying your car for pennies, all while the massive tech company takes the lion's share of the profit. It is a scam. It is a complete waste of your human potential. If you want to be rich, you must completely divorce yourself from low-value, time-for-money tasks. You must stop picking up pennies in front of a steamroller. So what is the Big Don solution? What should you do with those 4 hours every evening instead of delivering cold French fries? You need to focus on ROI, return on investment. But not investing money, investing your time into high-income skills. A high-income skill is something that is scalable, highly demanded by the marketplace, and detached from the physical hours you work. I am talking about B2B sales, high-level copywriting, data analytics, digital marketing, or mastering artificial intelligence workflows. Let's do the math on this. Let's say instead of driving for a gig app, you lock yourself in your room for 4 hours every night for 6 months. You take free courses, you read books, and you master B2B software sales. You learn how to close deals. You learn human psychology. After 6 months, you apply for a remote tech sales job. Because you have acquired a rare and valuable skill, your salary jumps from 40 grand a year to 80 grand a year, plus commissions. You just increased your income by $40,000 a year. That is a 40 grand dividend paid to you every single year for the rest of your life. There is no side hustle on earth that can give you that kind of leverage. Stop driving your car into the ground. Stop filling out internet surveys for a $3 gift card. You are your greatest asset. Use your 20s to build a massive shovel by acquiring rare skills, and watch how fast the wealth follows. All right, we have reached reason number 1. The absolute biggest destroyer of wealth for Gen Z in 2026. This is the secret trap that is keeping millions of young people completely broke while making them feel like they are financial geniuses. Reason number 1 is the illusion of investing, specifically treating the financial markets like a Las Vegas casino. Let me set the scene. You finally stopped doom spending. You quit your garbage side hustle. You saved up $1,000. You are feeling good. You want to invest. But because Gen Z has the attention span of a goldfish and wants everything right now, immediately, today, you do not look for sound financial advice. You look on social media. And who do you find? You find a 19-year-old kid named Crypto Chad. Chad is standing in front of a rented Lamborghini in Dubai. He tells you that traditional investing is for boomers. He tells you that if you buy this specific dog-themed meme coin, or if you learn how to day trade options on your phone while sitting on the toilet, you will turn your 1K into 50 grand by next Friday. So, you download a shiny trading app. The app shoots off digital confetti every time you make a trade to trigger your dopamine. You put your entire $1,000 into a highly leveraged options trade, or a garbage crypto token. And what happens? The market corrects. The whales dump their bags. Your investment plummets by 50% in 2 days. You panic. You have weak hands. You sell at a loss. Your 1K is now $500. It took you 3 months to save it, and 3 days to lose half of it. It is a tragedy. And here is the most unforgiving, brutal mathematical reality that the fake internet gurus will never tell you. When you lose 50% of your money, you do not need a 50% gain to get back to where you started. No, if you drop from $1,000 to $500, you now need a 100% return just to get back to zero. You have to double your money just to break even. You are digging a hole so deep you will never climb out. Day trading and gambling on meme coins is a loser's game. It is a wealth transfer mechanism from the impatient poor to the patient rich. If you want to actually build wealth, you have to embrace boredom. True wealth building is incredibly boring. It does not make for a good TikTok video. You cannot brag about it at a party. The wealthy do not day trade. The wealthy use a simple, automated system. They take advantage of tax-advantaged accounts. If your employer offers a 401k match, that is the greatest investment on the planet. If you put in $3,000 and your company matches it with another $1,500, that is an immediate, guaranteed 50% return on your money on day 1. Show me a crypto trader who can guarantee a 50% return in 1 second. They don't exist. Once you get your free money from the 401k, you open a standard brokerage account and you buy a broad market index fund, like the S&P 500. You are buying a tiny slice of the 500 largest, most powerful, most profitable corporations in America. Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Walmart. You let the smartest CEOs in the world go to work every day to make you rich. You set up an automatic transfer so that every time you get paid, a portion of your money buys more of that index fund. You do not look at the news. You do not check the charts. You do not listen to Crypto Chad. You just let compound interest do the heavy lifting over the next 20 years. That is how millionaires are actually made. It is systematic, it is emotionless, and it is guaranteed by math. Let us summarize this because I know some of you need to hear it twice. If you want to escape the trap that 99% of your generation is stuck in, you must fundamentally change your identity. First, you must annihilate the doom-spending mindset. Stop trading millions of dollars in future wealth for a momentary feeling of comfort. Delete the buy now, pay later apps today. Second, stop trading your precious time for pennies in the gig economy. Invest your evenings into high-income skills that will permanently raise your salary floor. And finally, stop treating the stock market like a casino. Stop taking advice from teenagers in rented sports cars. Embrace the boring, beautiful, compounding power of the S&P 500 and your 401k. When you combine these three shifts, your entire life changes. You stop being a victim of the economy and you become a predator in the marketplace. You gain leverage, you gain freedom, you gain power. But listen to me. Knowing this is only 10% of the battle. Execution is everything. If you rely on willpower to stop spending and start investing, you will fail. Willpower always runs out. You need a system that forces you to be wealthy automatically, without you even having to think about it. I have another video right there on your screen. It breaks down the exact pay-yourself-first automation system that I used to save my first major milestone, completely removing human error from the equation. It shows you how to physically hide your money from yourself so you cannot self-sabotage. Do not lose this momentum. Click that video right now. Stop complaining, start building, and let's make your wallet great again. I will see you over there.